Hey, welcome to the Christian Media Marketing Show. My name is John, and thanks for hanging out with me, whether you are listening to the podcast, watching the video here on YouTube. I just appreciate you spending some time with me today. We're going to be spending some time here in this week and next week, really trying to give you some timely insights as to what we are seeing, both with the pixel being changed now for religious websites, but also just the bigger trend that we're seeing. Last week's episode, if you've watched that one, I'm talking about the AI moderation and just the problems we're seeing with that. This week, I want to share with you about some targeting things that we are seeing happening around the world, and then continuing to just keep in that theme of things that we see happening on Meta that we're not liking. I'll have one more training for you the week after that. I also have some training coming up about AI, a book review that I read that's I think going to be really good. And so I hope that these are all things that are a benefit to you. If you're doing digital engagement, you're doing media to movement type work, or you're running ads to try to find seekers, then what I'm sharing with you today is going to be, I think, really important for you. Now, before we get started, I'm going to jump into my screen here in a second and show you some of the things that I'm seeing. It is a reality that Meta and Facebook is changing. They change all the time, but it seems like it's been changing a lot more recently. Even with their announcement that they're not going to be doing some of the content moderation, it's not that they're not going to look at anything. I think they're relying more and more on AI to be able to moderate the stuff that's out there, or to utilize algorithms and AI to decide who sees your ads. Now, add to that the challenge of any website that has stuff that's religious on it and how that pixel information is not getting shared back. And we're finding ourselves at a point where we have less and less control over what we can do. And yes, I know I'm talking just about Meta, but in some ways I see this trend happening on a broader scale. AI is integrating itself, good or bad, but it's just integrating itself more and more into different types of technology and tools that it's possible you use and that we use. And so it's going to have an impact on what we do. One of the challenges of that is that even those who are running the software, like Meta, don't always know why something is happening. Inside of the algorithm and the large language models and the machine learning and all this stuff that's going on, as it learns, it is not necessarily explaining the decisions or things that we're seeing. So for one of the accounts that we have that got flagged with no issues whatsoever up to this point, 4 different Meta people have been talked to, and all of them have said different things. Well, that doesn't make sense. Now, the one that we have heard, I think, is actually some new training that is going to be not this week, but next week's training I'm going to be giving to you. And it comes back to the way we use the word you. In fact, there's some new policies that are out there, and that's going to be next week's episode. This week's episode is just about the challenges of when you're developing the ads, can we get them to go to the people we want them to go to? And what we're seeing is, no, not necessarily. This is an issue of quantity versus quality. So let me jump into my screen here and let's take a peek at it. So here we have it. I'm set up. I'm ready to start running an ad, to create a new campaign, ad set, and ad. First things first, when you go through it, it's going to give you an option here to be able to choose just automatic. In fact, I'll go right back to that screen right here. We're going to come through. If I hit the green create button, then I could be coming through, and on this one I've already set that I want to manually do it, but you're going to come up with an option that's going to say, okay, well, do you want to just use suggested settings? And I'm going to say no for right now, because some of these settings I think are going to lower the quality and the control that you have. But here's the thing. The ability to switch to original mode or to switch to manual mode, I think, is going to continue to become less and less available. So most of you, if you're doing digital engagement, are either trying to find seekers, you've got videos that you want people watching, you want them sending you a message, or you want them coming to your website. So You want some sort of traffic, maybe it's engagement. And as Meta has changed here just a few months ago, you can accomplish that in different ways. Most of the time, if it's traffic, we want traffic to, as it says here, to link clicks or to a website, or it can go to Messenger, Instagram, or WhatsApp. And so a lot of times we have used this campaign objective. Now, I want to encourage you to try out leads. And when you use a lead campaign objective, I'm going to say to you, I think instant forms may be one of the things that you want to start using if you've not done it so far. I'll do a full training on this later, but here's the reason why. These instant forms are happening on Facebook. So this is not a pixel issue. This is something inside of their environment, and so there's good numbers on it. It's when you get outside of that environment that I think the quality begins to go down. And even when you say, well, I want as many people to see my ad, this goes to their, in essence, audience display network. So this goes to other sites that embed Facebook types of content on them, very similar to the Google display network. The thing is, we have no idea who these people are or the quality of those clicks or links. And so I don't think they're very good as we've looked back on them. But let's say you're just doing a normal ad here, traffic, we're going to want to go to get a link click, landing page, whatever it might be. So I'm going to click continue here. And now here's the setting, recommended or manual? No, well, I want to use manual here because I don't like some of the options that are being forced upon me here. So let's just say we use manual. Well, you jump into it. And now at this point, this is where your campaign budget plus, this is where A/B testing, all of that can take place. But if you jump to the ad set, this is where you begin to decide where and what you want to spend and your audience parts. So I'm in here on the ad set part of it, choosing the date, choosing how much I want to spend, choosing the location. And then I want you to see down here, here's Advantage plus audience, and it's chosen by default. So this used to be an optional thing. At this point now, this is the default setting. If you don't change it, there are some significant ramifications that come from that. What are some of those? Well, you might say, well, I want my ad to be shown to women. And it might go, well, that's a great suggestion, but may not do it. We've actually seen this now happen in multiple places. So that we design an ad, it's supposed to go to this audience, and Meta goes, well, but we're going to get more clicks over here or more messages or whatever. And so it's not quality. It's not even who we want to see the ad. So just going through this one right here, there's some things you can do. And see, it says optional audience suggestion. And it's just that. It's suggesting to Meta and to the algorithms. And how much does it listen? I don't know. So we pick age and we pick gender, it does not guarantee that your ad will only go to that gender or to that age group, or even when you go down in here to detailed targeting. These are suggestions, and I don't think the algorithms are listening to what you have to say. So what I would encourage you to do is, if this is the normal way you go through it, click on switch to original audience options. And it's going to tell you, oh, this is bad, and keep doing it or whatever. Just click on use original audience. And now when you get to this point, here is where you can bring in your custom audiences, your lookalikes, age, gender, all of that. All right. And so I think this is the way we have to do this now, but it's not default when we do it. And so even with placement, see, all of this stuff is showing up here. If I click on this, I can choose where I want it to go. Because if I don't do that, then I have no control where my ad is shown, who is it shown to, all of that. And so we've just been seeing so many issues that come about. Now, is the algorithm good at finding people? Well, yeah, it is at quantity, but I'm not so sure about quality. So I would encourage you, jump in here and click on original audience. If you're running ads to custom audiences that are based upon the pixel and people come into your website, I know that's the way it used to be done. I've taught it. I have videos on it. but it's not going to be the future. At this point, that pixel data is going to become less and less important. And so if you're running multi-level campaigns based upon this and that and whatever else on your pixel, I think those days are limited, if not already past. All right. And so this is where using a lead ad, using forms or things, maybe instant experience right on Facebook, I think is going to be a better option long term. For right now, we can still do things the old-fashioned way. We can still click over here on original audience, and we're having to do that. We're also, for us at least at Kavanaugh Media, for those who we serve and run ads for, we have to keep going back and checking if the ad itself turned on. Like, there's just a lot of issues that are going on right now. We create ads, they're set to run, they're approved, and then they don't run. We've seen ads being shut off. We see targeting to women that don't go to women. Like, so many things that are frustrating. And right now, we're just having to manually go through at times and check on some of these things, manually go through and change to original audience. And at some point, I'm afraid that option is going to be taken away. So check this out. If you're creating the ad, I would encourage you, if you want really quality ones, try to use the original audience and be careful. Watch what's happening. Check what's happening. See where your ads are performing best. See if what you want is what's happening. And stay on top of your ads. All right, so that's some encouragement to you today. Watch out for the Advantage Plus. If your objectives are traffic or link clicks or through plays, Meta will send quantity, but I don't think they're going to send you quality. And so we're going to have to adapt. We're going to have to try to change. We're going to have to make these algorithms do the best we can to it. But right now, they're not listening to our suggestions very much when you put those kind of things into it. So you look at it. If you're finding other things that are working well for you, or you've learned things with that, share it with us. We want to share that with the whole community. All right. So hopefully this is a blessing, a benefit to you. As always, we have our weekly marketing rundown newsletter that comes out. In it, we'll have, this is actually one of the subjects that's in there, some articles from people in the marketing world that I respect greatly. I've talked to, who I get feedback from and information from before. So it's just so much that's on there. I hope that you will subscribe to that. Go to our website, KavanaughMedia.com, to sign up for that. And as always, this podcast will come out, and I will be sharing this with you, Lord willing, every week. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about some of the rule changes that we're seeing, even when it comes to using words like you. So I hope that you will log on, download that podcast, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, get notified when it comes out. And if you would, share it with other people. We really do appreciate that. All right. Thanks so much for all that you do for the kingdom and for our King. Keep pressing forward. May God bless your efforts to make his son known for the renewal of all things. Take care and God bless.